in high school are extremely difficult due to how busy everyone is with trying to keep good grades, maintain their extracurricular activities, friends, work. It's all puts a strain on kids' lives, and one thing that everyone seems to want but can't seem to achieve is a relationship, a connection with another human being that is special just individually to them. It's something unique that they only possess, that nothing anyone else can take away from them or can say they have. For most kids, there's no one really there to tell them the steps they should take or what all they should know before trying to start a relationship with someone else. So that's why I'm here to kind of give you a guide and what to do and what to know and to expect. Disclaimer, this will be for guys mainly because I'm not a girl, so I don't know the perspective they have in it all, so sorry. First off, you need to find someone that you're interested in, someone that maybe shares a common hobby with you or mutual friends that you, once you kind of find that person that you think you may be interested in, you want to get to know them a little bit to see if your personalities click, if your ideals are relative to each other, because you don't want someone who's like a neo-Nazi going after someone that's a Jew, and that might turn out kind of bad. Once you kind of get to know them a little bit and you've decided that you're interested in them, you're going to want to ask them out, which that's a very broad topic because everyone's different in what they like. But so you need to figure out what works for you and the other person. Like what are y'all's hobbies? What could y'all go out and do that you'd both enjoy? Because when you're asking someone out, it's not about you as much as it is about them. You want to put the light on them and show that you're caring for them and you want to be there for them. So I think that really depends upon what you and the other person are into and like, which for everyone is completely different. Some people like just going out to a fast food place and just talking, but for others, they might actually want to go out and do something like go to maybe downtown McKinney and walk around the old shops and antique stores to going to see a play or even a concert. It could be anything. So I think that's just something you gotta figure out between you and the other person, which just comes from talking to them, which I know can be complicated and hard, but it's really not because if you like them and they like you back, it'll just come naturally over time. But it starts with those kind of uncomfortable conversations of trying to get to know each other, which I know it kind of sucks for everyone, but once you get past that point, it everything starts to kind of fall into place. Once you realize that you're into them and you think they might be into you too, then comes the step of actually asking them out, which that's probably the most nerve-wracking part of it all is because most people just want to do it through a text or over social media in a way that's non-confronting because that way if they get rejected it's not as bad, but you always want to do it face to face. It shows that you're confident, and if you just do it over Snap or text, then it just makes you look, I don't want to say weak, but then again kind of weak because you're not confident in talking to them face to face because you're scared of that rejection, which is one of the biggest turnoffs for most people because they want someone that isn't scared to express how they feel. Once y'all figured out like what y'all want to do and go out, then comes the step of trying to plan it out properly, like what you're gonna wear, if you're gonna pick them up or meet them there, which are all different factors one has to consider. So, for getting dressed up for it, I think it really depends upon what you're going to do and how casual it is. Because, like, if you're just going out to eat at maybe a fast food place or something, then you don't have to get super dressed up or anything. It's not like you need a tux, you just need, like, a nice pair of jeans and a nice shirt or something. But if you're going out somewhere nice, like if you're taking them out somewhere nicer to eat or maybe something like a play, then you're obviously going to want to dress up a little bit more, like in something like a button down and khakis. So I think it all just depends upon what you and your partner are going to do. And that way you can just kind of plan accordingly. Because like if you're going on a hike, you're not going to be wearing a tuxedo or anything like that. But if you're going out to eat, you're not going to be in your athletic clothes that you just wore to the gym. So I think one just has to figure out what would be the most fitting, but you also want to stay comfortable. You don't want to be in something that's uncomfortable or looks out of place. So it's really up to one's own judgment and their own style sense. Then comes the step of deciding if you're just going to meet them there or pick them up. If you can drive, I would always recommend picking them up because it's just something that a gentleman would do. You want to like go up. First of all, never send them a text that says I'm here. Always go up to the door and knock. Show that you're like that they're worth more than just a text saying here, because that'll just win you major points and make you not look like a douche. And then walk him or her down to your car and make sure you open the door for them. Be a gentleman. That'll also win you just a ton of points. Alright, so now you're in your car and you're driving them to wherever you're going. When you're driving with another person, you always have to be cautious of how you drive, because now it's not just your life that you have to be worried about, it's their life, which is kind of scary when you think about it. So make sure you follow like all the speed laws and just drive more careful than you usually do, because you're not going to look good if you end up crashing on a first date. Now, once you arrive at wherever you're going, make sure you open the door for that person. Like, just show again that you're caring and there for them. And then this part is completely up to you and the other person, but for me personally, whenever I'm out on a date with someone, especially if it's the first date, I always pay for everything just because it makes you look good and shows them that maybe you're stable, I guess. I don't know if that's politically correct or the right way to phrase it, but that's just how I do things. But if you have it set up to where you're going to pay for this and they're going to pay for that, then that's also fine. It just kind of depends upon you and the other person. But I always recommend paying for everything on the first date. It just helps make you look good. You also want to kind of keep the conversation going. So maybe beforehand, just like think of a couple topics that relate to you and the other person that you can both talk about. Because nothing is worse than just an awkward silence where neither person really knows what to say. Because I've been there and it's just kind of awful. So just maybe try to think of a couple things beforehand, but you don't want to like plan it out too much. It needs to seem natural. Just kind of go with the flow of it. And try to make sure they talk more than you. I know that sounds kind of funny, but you want to make it about them. You're the one taking them out, so make it a special night for them. It's not about you, it's about them, their feelings. You're trying to connect with them. Then, after that, if you're taking them home, when you remember, drive carefully. Their life is really important. You don't want to ruin that aspect. You don't want to kill them or anything, because then you might not get a second date. So, when you get back to their house, when you pull up, tell them to wait there, and then you get out and go and open their car door for them. It's just another thing that makes you look good, like a gentleman. That it'll just win you points, because most guys are dicks and don't do just the simple things like that. Like, you can buy them the most expensive things in the world and they'll think it's great, but if you just do the simple things and show that you truly care for them, it is worth way more than any diamond will ever be to them. Then once you get them home and like walk them up to their door, it's just another one of those little things that most people don't do. It'll just help you earn points. Alright, well, those are some of the most basic tips I could come up with for going out on a first date with someone. Just try to keep it casual and stay calm. It's just a first date. If the other person said yes, that they'd want to go out with you, then they obviously like you. So don't try to overdo it and impress them too much, which I know sounds weird, but you just want to be you. Don't try to put on a fake version of you just to try to impress them. Don't try to be like one of their exes because they had a really good relationship. You need to just be you, because that's who they like and that's what they want, is you, not someone else. Always try to remember that and keep that in perspective, because I feel like most people get caught up in trying to become something they're not to try to impress the other people, because high school is a really awful place. Everyone's trying to fit in and just stay under the radar and not be a target to everyone else. So just try to keep that in mind and just keep calm and it'll all go well. Alright, I hope this helped to some degree, just maybe giving you a basic outline of what to do and what to look out for. And not every relationship is going to work out the way you want it to. So always remember that, like, there's someone out there for you. Don't get caught up on one person, because maybe all in all, they're the ones that don't deserve you and it's not the other way around. So try to keep an open mind about that and just have fun. Like, it's only high school, nothing is set in stone here. So just try to go out and have a good time. Don't think that this is going to be the person you're going to be spending the rest of your life with, because you might find out they don't want the same things as you, which can complicate the relationship for you and the other person, and it might end up ending because of it. So don't try to stay focused on that. Just live in the moment and enjoy the time that you are getting with them.